So let's get started with Sale Guru today with our top story, the Poco X3 Pro. And Poco, what you're doing is, with every new phone that you're coming out, you're impressing us a little bit more. Now, I made this announcement last time that we'd done a Poco review, that finally they got out of their shell of just being a Me Too Xiaomi company and just coming up with phones which were rebadged Xiaomi phones or Redmi phones. Now they have pretty much everything happening on their own. They continue with this very sad situation where they have this big Poco logo, this insignia on every phone, but this time it's a little bit more subtle. So if you keep your finger in the right place, no one knows that there's a big Poco at the back. But the phone is actually really good. The Poco X3 Pro, it's a gaming phone at about 18,000 rupees. It's a high performance phone at about 18,000 rupees. So that seems like it's got it all. Does it? Let's tell you all the good and some not so good about this phone.
Poco's legacy as a game changer began with the Poco F1, a phone that redefined the amount of performance you can get for your money, and fans have been clamoring for a return to form from the brand. Enter the Poco X3 Pro, a lean, mean machine that minces no words. Yes, it is powerful, but it takes more than power to make for a great phone. Does the Poco X3 Pro have it? Let's find out in the Sale Guru review. The design of the Poco X3 Pro is bound to be attractive to the gaming crowd. There is racing line-inspired strip at the back with the Poco logo sitting proudly in the middle. The matte finish looks attractive but is prone to catching scuffs. The camera island too sits proud of the surface of the phone and there's no missing it. There's no dearth of ports and you get the usual USB-C, a headphone jack and IR blaster. Moreover, Poco has smartly made use of a side-mounted fingerprint scanner that we found to be very quick at unlocking the phone. Meanwhile, the display is satisfactory but not the best in class. You see, the Poco X3 Pro has a 120Hz display, but it is of the LCD variety. The Redmi Note 10 Pro Max does better with a Super AMOLED 120Hz display. The Poco X3 Pro, however, makes it up in power and there's oodles of it. The Snapdragon 860 chipset here delivers flagship-grade performance and a testing matched it up. The UI is predictably smooth but the phone shines with gaming. You can easily play the latest and greatest like Call of Duty Mobile with the graphics maxed out without any worries. No, the phone doesn't heat up noticeably either, and this is hands down the best performing phone in this price category. The cameras, on the other hand, are satisfactory, and that's about it. The primary 48-megapixel camera takes well-saturated shots with a decent amount of detail, but the dynamic range isn't the best. Low-light shots too can be hit or a miss. The 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera takes good-looking images, but the color profile doesn't entirely match. And finally, we would have liked to see a higher-resolution macro sensor here. Powering the show is a 5160 mAh battery, and even with lots of gaming, we could easily get a full day of charge. 33-watt charging comes in handy and the phone goes from 0 to 100 in just about an hour. Overall, the premise is clear. This is a phone built for gamers and is easily the best performing phone in the segment. It cut corners on imaging and the display, but not enough to make it a deal breaker. For gamers on a budget, the X3 Pro, price starting 18,999 rupees, is a no-brainer and is definitely one to get.